I'm Sandra Derby, and I'm a longtime parishioner at St. Theresa's and happy to do this reflection with you today. Tomorrow we remember one of the darkest days in U.S. history, the bombing of the Twin Towers. It has been 20 years since that surreal day. Most of us, I imagine, remember exactly where we were when the news broke. My memory is not as good as it used to be, but when it comes to the events of that day, my memory is crisp and clear. When I see images of all that transpired, I have a visceral reaction that takes me back to the feelings of shock and devastation. I also remember how desperate I was to be in touch with family and friends, longing for connection, for assurance, for those voices that comforted and soothed amidst the horror we were experiencing. Earlier this week, as our Jewish brothers and sisters celebrated Rosh Hashanah, I was reminded of the power memory, remembering, and telling the story again and again has for us. The Hebrew word for this kind of remembering is zikaron. Zikaron is not simply a cognitive calling to mind, but a dynamic word, one that includes those who remember into the action or event that is being remembered. So when we remember, our current story is dramatically marked, shaped, and transformed by the story that is remembered. Mark's gospel this weekend recounts the exchange Jesus had with his disciples when he asks, "Who do people say that I am?" The stakes, however, get higher when he turns to them and pointedly asks, "And who do you say that I am?" I'm not sure I have ever heard that verse proclaimed that I haven't squirmed a bit. Such a direct, penetrating question from Jesus. Peter, the impetuous, impulsive, hot-headed, lovable disciple, answers so plainly, "You are the Christ." I am more and more convinced that my capacity to answer that question as clearly as Peter did is tied to my willingness to embrace zikaron, a living, active, transformative remembrance of Jesus. On the night before he died, Jesus left us this command: "Do this in memory of me." Those words and their accompanying actions are at the center of our Eucharistic faith. Bread broken and shared, cup blessed and poured, feet washed with the mandate to go forth and do as Jesus did. In our remembering, Jesus' story of living united to the will of the Father and our story become the same. One of the battle cries of 9/11 was never forget. Year after year throughout our country, we remember and commemorate those whose lives were lost and those who were so heroic in their efforts. As we remember our country's story this weekend, let us also be emboldened to remember with vitality and clarity our story in Christ. "Do this in memory of me" is our call to action, to be the presence of Christ in this wounded world. Jesus asks us, "Who do you say that I am?" May we boldly proclaim by our lives what Peter proclaimed with his lips: "You are the Christ."
Please like, subscribe, or comment below.